Imagine a world where your ideas materialize right in front of your eyes. It's not magic, it's 3D printing. And in this video, we'll show you a few ways to use it. Let's do it. So what exactly is 3D printing? Well, a 3D printer is a device that you can use to make any number of three-dimensional objects using a special type of 3D computer file. The concept is like following step-by-step directions to build something out of your favorite plastic building block toys. 3D printing takes the 3D file and raw materials, and after running it through software, uses the printer to create the object with the material. There are two main printing technologies in use today: fused deposition modeling, FDM, and stereolithography, or SLA printing. FDM printing adds material one layer at a time to an object, and SLA printing uses light to solidify single layers of material at a time. Both are considered additive manufacturing, meaning material is added a layer at a time to make the whole object. The main difference is in the way the material is added. Today, we're going to focus on the more popular of the two technologies, which is FDM printing. With FDM printing, material, which is generally some sort of thermoplastic filament, is melted to a liquid state, then added one layer at a time to the object. Think of the way a glue gun works, and you have the gist. The FDM printing process starts on a computer with 3D modeling software or computer-aided design software. The 3D modeling software is used to create or design the object. There are many options for 3D design software, some freely available for personal use and some that cost money and are intended for businesses. For most home users, starting with free software is the smart way to go, to see if the 3D printing process is right for you. Then, if you need additional features or support, you can switch to a paid software that meets your needs. If the 3D design process is daunting, there are also many places online where thousands of already created files are shared or sold by their creators. Once an object is created in the 3D modeling software or sourced from one of those sites, it will generally be saved as an STL file, also known as Standard Triangle Language or Standard Tessellation Language. Once you have an STL file, you open it in slicing software. Slicing software is just what it sounds like. It is software that slices the object into many very thin layers. Sometimes these layers are as thin as 0.1 millimeters, which is about the thickness of a single sheet of paper. The slicing process is what makes the 3D printer understand how to create the object, one layer at a time. It is also where the final properties of the printed object are set up. For example, how thick the walls are, how dense the object is, how strong it needs to be, and what temperatures to use for the filament. If you are unaware of what settings to use, generally the defaults of the specific filament material you are using are a good place to start. Most printers have recommended or included slicing software, but there are many options, and they all have different quirks and features. Our recommendation is to start with the slicing software recommended by the manufacturer of the 3D printer you'll be using. Then, if you need additional features, you can try other slicing software. For the most part, any slicing software will work with any printer. For the AnchorMake M5, the slicing software that is recommended is AnchorMake Slicer. Once the slicing is completed, the slicing software will generally create a G-code file, which is what the 3D printer understands. This file is loaded on the printer via USB, Wi-Fi, or SD card, then the printing process can be started. The printer takes the sliced G-code file and follows it step by step, layer by layer to make the final product. Depending on the size of the object and settings, this process can take as little as a few minutes, all the way up to multiple hours or days. We've had people here print objects that have taken up to 2 days to print. With the AnchorMake M5 printer we have here, we even have the option to monitor or send files to the printer from the Anchor app. Once the object is done printing, it can be removed from the print bed and is ready to use with no additional work required, unless there is finishing work like sanding and painting. Now that we have a basic understanding of what 3D printing is and the process behind it, what can we do with it? Well, there are a ton of things you can do with a 3D printer. On the most basic level, pretty much any object you can think of that is made of plastic can be made on an FDM 3D printer. Do you have a messy toolbox and wish each of your tools had a place to sit? A 3D printer can make wrench, screwdriver, or socket holders. Is the keyboard on your computer missing one of those little plastic feet that makes it sit at just the right angle to type on? A 3D printer can make a new one that exactly matches the missing one. Did your child misplace a board game piece? A a 3D printer can rescue game night by creating a new piece. The possibilities truly are endless. If you can think of or design an object, chances are you can 3D print it and have it in a few minutes to a few hours. 3D printing can be used to make everything from small toys to parts for cosplaying to replacement or repair parts for items around the house. We have a few things here that we printed out previously, and as you can see, they vary from race cars to figurines. Basically, if you can think of an item, you can make it. Your imagination really is the limit. Well, that's all for our quick intro to 3D printing. Hopefully we answered your questions and showed you some of the possibilities. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more tech tips from Best Buy. And if you'd like further recommendations on 3D printers, make a free appointment with a Best Buy home expert. Click the link below to find out more or set up an appointment. Thanks for watching.